Hi everybody, my name is Whitney. I'm a psychiatric mental health nurse practitioner and also a member of the Oglala Sioux tribe, originally from the Pine Ridge Reservation in South Dakota. So I am here today. I wanted to talk and share some information on emotional health, which is everybody's favorite topic. But it's really important because there's been a lot of things that have happened in the past and that continue to happen that have an effect on our people, both in the city, on the reservation, in between, and those things are important to work through and, to reach some resolution about, and especially right now where we're not able to spend time with one another as much as we'd like to and see other people, go to gatherings. We all miss powwow this summer for sure. So some of those activities that usually are helpful for us aren't really accessible right now. So the other big reason that I think emotional health is really important for our people is because, guys, we are getting really sick and dying at very high rates from heart disease, from cancers, from diabetes, and those are things that are influenced by emotional health. They cause a big cascade of effects in our bodies, and that can lead to the development of things like diabetes and heart disease as well. So it is something that I think is a traditional teaching for all across cultures in the United States for Indigenous people, that when our spirits are sick, our body can be sick too because of that. And I think it's really important to give credit to our ancestors for knowing that was a thing for long before medicine or science discovered that, or not discovered, but came to that conclusion as well. So the particular topic that I want to talk about today is mindfulness, which is something that's really easy to learn and is something that I think is really close to our cultures. So I think that for us it's even easier to pick up because it's based in concepts that we already learned growing up. And mindfulness is something that can be helpful for anxiety, for depression, for those who are in recovery or working towards recovery. It can be applied to a multitude of problems. And all ages can use it. Kids can be taught mindfulness, and adults for sure. And it's something that families can do together too, which is fun and good. So mindfulness, what does that mean? Mindfulness is about being really aware of what's going on in your body, that as it relates to your emotions, and just accepting it, letting it be, not passing any judgment on it. So the two tools that you need besides you are awareness and acceptance. Pretty easy, right? Nothing you have to go buy or find, track down. And what people find that they end up getting out of mindfulness about that as a practice, because it is a practice, you have to build it as a habit. So whenever you are looking at trying to build a new habit, you think, well, what's going to be in it if I do this? And that's peace. People feel at peace when they practice mindfulness. Mindfulness is something that people like the Dalai Lama, Tibetan monks, people all over the world, our ancestors, even though they didn't call it that specific term, they were practicing mindfulness. And that is something that makes it possible for people to do incredible things that really kind of defy the understanding of how does that possibly work. So it's something that has been around for a very long time and definitely works too. So when when we feel things, and we should feel things because we're human beings, we're not robots. So whenever when we feel things, what the problem is behind those things is not the feelings themselves, okay? But that's what we decide, is that the feelings might be the problem. And it's usually because they make us uncomfortable, don't feel very good whenever they can't come up. Things like anger, sadness, grief, those are all things that can not feel very good. For some people, they might not like that feeling in their throat, like they're gonna cry, they don't wanna cry, they're ashamed of crying. So if they have an emotion come on that makes them feel like that, they decide, this is bad, I don't like this, I don't wanna feel this way. So they kind of shove it down, but it doesn't go away, it just kind of keeps stacking. And the emotion itself was never bad. We decided it was, and then anytime that emotion comes up, we probably spend some time thinking about how weak we are for feeling it. Why can't we get a handle on it? Why can't we get control over it? Why does it just keep kind of popping up? And the thing is as that stuff is stacking up, as we're kind of shoving it to the side, it's coming harder and harder to ignore. So what that is, you know, the explanation behind if you've ever blown up at somebody that wasn't even really doing anything to, you know, make you that angry or make you that frustrated, but had all these things stacked up, and they just happened to be the person who kind of put the final thing on top of the heap, and it turned into a big deal. That's why that happens. If we kind of take care of those things as they come on, and we totally experience them and process them, they don't accumulate. So whenever so the method to stop assigning that an emotion as bad or good is to really take a look at things like as they come on and be really aware of you know what the situation, what the context of things are, and to really be aware of how do I experience this without judging that. So there's a good easy way to remember that process, and that is the acronym RAIN, R-A-I-N. So first step of that is we want to recognize when an emotion is coming on. So say that feeling tense, a lot of demands at work, or it's getting really stressful, either doing homeschooling, we want to be at school with our friends, or we're feeling overwhelmed. Geez, I haven't been in school myself for so long. How am I going to teach the kids this? I don't know if I'm going to prepare them well enough, and how am I supposed to go to work? There's a lot of that, really tense, anxious, worried. So whenever that comes on, whenever that's feeling really, really in there, to not push it away, recognize, I am anxious. I'm feeling anxious. I'm feeling worried. I'm feeling distressed. Really important to try to find the right word for that. And so avoiding feeling some kind of way is pretty important because feeling some kind of way kind of depends on people's definitions, right? So, you know, really recognizing what is this feeling? Because sometimes people might think I'm feeling anxious, and if they really take the time, just those few minutes, to think, is that really the emotion? They might decide, no, it's not. I'm really mad. I'm mad about that. I'm mad that this thing is still going on. I'm mad that I have to try to be a teacher and a mom or a dad and work and do all these things. I don't have time for this. I'm not anxious. I'm mad. And so the next step in that would be to accept it. You're mad, you're anxious. Doesn't need to have anything else said about it. And it is what it is. It's not a bad emotion, it's not a good emotion. Okay, might be time at this point to think about like kind of what level am I experiencing this emotion. Am I really, really mad? Am I starting to get pretty mad? And that might be a time when people are able to kind of have a reference point of, I think this has kind of been building today. Geez, or maybe this has been kind of coming on for the last week, and I thought I was worried, but now I realize I'm mad, and I think I've been mad all week. So the third step is to investigate. And again, not whether the emotion is bad or good. Humans, not robots. No emotion is bad. No emotion is good. So what the investigate part is for is, how do I feel? Do I feel tense here in my shoulders? How am I breathing? Am I breathing really fast? When anxiety or anger even too happens, you might find that if you put your hand on your chest, you might feel your hand goes up and down really fast, and that's not a good way to breathe. You're getting in short, shallow breaths, and that kind of perpetuates itself. So you'll keep breathing that way, and it's going to keep increasing your heart rate and your blood pressure. It's going to make you feel more anxious, more mad. So if you notice during that investigate part that your breathing seems to be coming from here, that might be the time when you put your hand over your belly and try to focus on making your belly go in and out. Because if you're taking deep breaths here, what happens is you're expanding your whole rib cage and diaphragm, taking in big breaths of air, and then whenever you blow them out, blowing them out like you're blowing out a candle on a birthday cake. It's nice and slow, not so fast. Other things to investigate. What could be going on that's making me feel this way? Have I felt this way before about this particular thing? And what did I do before? What did I do before to try to work through it? What has worked? What doesn't work? Did I take a walk? Yeah, that seemed to help. Maybe that's what I should do. That kind of thing. Really looking at that without judgment about what it means. Having an emotion means that you have a need to feel, and that's normal. So that's all there needs to be said about that. And that's sometimes something we really like to complicate a lot. So last step is to nurture. And sometimes people will say that the N can stand for not attaching or non-identifying, and they all mean the same thing, and that's to really bring yourself to a point of, just because I'm mad or just because I'm angry doesn't mean that I am anger, that I am an angry person. Something that I think people do a lot is they think, oh man, I am turning out just like my mom. She was so angry all the time and could be so mean and nasty to us, and I am turning out just like her. If you find yourself doing that, you're not nurturing, you're not doing the non-identifying. This is the point where you give yourself some patience and some grace of, like this is a hard time. And I think that I'm somebody who is usually pretty patient, but this is really hard for me. And, I think maybe, I need to take that walk because that would be good for me. I like to be outside, and I deserve that. That's okay for me to go do. So, yeah, so those are the steps of RAIN for mindfulness. And I hope that is a explanation that is helpful for people. And if you have more questions about mindfulness, you can always type it into Google. There's some great resources. Flute music and traditional music goes great for this process, can really help the beats and things really help us stay in tune with what's our heart doing, what's our breathing doing, and can really help us feel more connected to ourselves. And so the thing I just want to leave everybody with is that I hope that you're all staying healthy and well with your families, and wish you the same going on the rest of the year and as we get through this. And thank you for attending our programming today.